Hi everyone. In this very brief summary, I'm going to share my personal experience with Uranus moving through my ninth house. I was looking back at my chart, and I like to do this often and look at old transits and what transpired because I think that's how we learn the most. And I was just blown away by all the things that came up for me and I experienced while Uranus was moving through my ninth house. And it just goes to show how accurate astrology is. And it was just fun for me. And so I thought I would share this with you guys. And I'd be really curious if anyone had a similar experience, if they've experienced Uranus moving through the ninth house. I will say right now in the year of 2022, Virgo rising is experiencing this now. So this is very pertinent to you, and you might, gain something from this, or you might already be experiencing some of this. Virgo sun might also see some of this, but the rising is typically stronger. So before I kind of share my experience, I just want to briefly go over what Uranus represents and then what the ninth house represents, and then I will tie it all in and share what happened for me. But the planet of Uranus is the planet of disruption and chaos and sudden changes, unpredictability. Uranus is very unstable. Let's just say that. But Uranus can also be exciting, liberating, and ultimately wants freedom in whatever house he is visiting. Uranus also can talk about science, technology, because he's all about innovation, right? So things like that. And rules unusual things. So think of tarot, astrology, the occult. All those topics are very Uranian. Uranus is what we consider a generational planet, and so he spends about 7 years in each sign. So he transited my ninth house for about 7 years. So I'm not going to talk about the first little stint. So Uranus was in my ninth house, which was Aries, for a little while in 2010, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about when he went back into Aries in 2011 and stayed there. So he was in Aries from March 11th, 2011, all the way through May 15th, 2018. And for me, as a Leo rising, that was my ninth house. So what is the ninth house? So the ninth house is anything foreign people, places, things. Think of like long distance travel, publishing, the legal system and law are under that category as well. So think of like immigration, publishing is under this category, spirituality and religion or religious leaders or spiritual leaders or mentors, teaching and learning are under this, particularly higher education. So think of a master's degree, a PhD program. And also kind of just talks about our overall views on the world, our perspectives, how we look out at the world. So that's just a brief synopsis of what Uranus represents and what the ninth house represents. Now, what did that mean for me? So I did some reflecting, and it's hard to think back that long, but I do remember around 2011, 2012, I was starting to think about my future. And I was just working as a care aide. You don't make very much money. In Canada, they call it a care aide. It might be called something else here. I think it's called a nurse's aide. I loved it. It was rewarding, but it didn't pay me the money I would have liked to do the things I wanted to do. And I wanted to challenge myself and grow. So I had decided I want to pursue higher education. And in order to do that, I had to boost my math grade up. So I had to go back to school and I think Uranus actually rules like science and math. So yeah, that might be a Uranian thing. But anyways, so although I wasn't in higher education, that's when the energy started brewing for me. Then in 2013, I got into my nursing program. So we have science, right? We have higher education. And in 2014, I met a man who is now my husband. He was a foreigner to me. I was in Canada. He was in the US. And that is very ninth house. We had a long distance relationship for a year and a half. And then I shocked everyone and decided to move to marry this man. So I shocked people because marriage was not something I was really known to want. And I was, I very much prided, like I really liked my singleness and my freedom. And so I think that shocked a bit of people. But I also was moving to be with someone that was very unusual from the typical types of guys I dated. So it was unusual for other people and myself, really. Like, I shocked myself when I made that decision. And it might have seemed impulsive to some people, but we're still together and life is great. So of course, because I moved from Canada to the US, I went through the immigration process. So I got a green card and went through the whole process of citizenship, and actually ended up getting my US citizenship before Uranus moved out of there. And now I have dual citizenship. When I got to the US in 2016, I completed my bachelor's degree so I completed my bachelor's degree in April of 2017, and then I decided to pursue a master's degree, which is not anything I really had the desire to do before. So that's very ninth house, and it was a little unexpected for me. We also did a lot of travel from, I would say, 2016 all the way through 2018. So that's funny. That's when Uranus moved. A lot of travel. And for me, it was foreign because I was from Canada, and I wasn't even a citizen yet of the US. We also ended up buying what for me was foreign property because I was not yet a citizenship, but we purchased a timeshare, and we also purchased our first home before that was out. So for me, that was foreign. Now, the picture on the screen, I decided to put this picture up because, as you can see, my natal Jupiter is conjunct transiting Uranus. And that was literally the time I got into grad school, and when I received an unexpected scholarship for what to me was a big chunk of money. And I will say, throughout my program, I did receive multiple scholarships, and for some reason they always surprised me. So I feel like that was that Jupiter, that luck. But then also Jupiter rules higher education, and then we have Uranus in the ninth house. So that was really neat, and I think that is very indicative of that type of transit. In 2016, I should have looked back at 2016 because that was a pretty powerful year with Uranus in that house for me. But I met a man who became my spiritual mentor very unexpectedly at a gym, of all places. And to this day, he is still one of my best friends. He is a spiritual mentor and guide, and a family friend to me and my family. And he's a spiritual mentor. So the ninth house is spiritual guides, religious figures. I also started to learn tarot, and again, very out of the blue. Like, I had never had any desire to learn tarot. I didn't know anything about it. So I started learning in 2016. I think by the end of that year, I was doing readings for friends and friends of friends. And then as it progressed by 2018, I was charging for tarot readings. So we have that Uranus energy, right? Tarot, and that kind of out of the blue energy, very unexpected. And I can also look back to, though, like specifically, maybe not the entire Uranus transit, but specifically around, like, once I moved to the US, I would say all the way up until about 2008. I would say about till 2018. I look back because we moved from where we were to another state, and I just wasn't a fan of the new state. But I just experienced a lot of freedom. Like, I just remember looking back at that life, or that time of my life, feeling free, liberated. Things seemed easy, and I can't think of any disruption that Uranus caused when it came to any of those areas that I'm thinking of. Everything came easy. Grad school came easy. The application process was easy. The scholarships were easy. The money just came. I actually ended up not paying for my education because of my husband, and he is in the military, and I ended up using his GI Bill. So I actually didn't pay anything out of pocket for my schooling. I mean, maybe some book money, but I mean, they give book money as well. So I feel like that was my natal Jupiter helping that energy. Like, if I didn't have natal Jupiter there, I don't think it would have been as fortunate, perhaps. But yeah, that kind of summarizes it. I'm sure if I reflected more, I could probably think of more. But yeah, got higher education, married a foreigner, became dual citizen, or have dual citizenship now, sorry. Got a master's degree, got a spiritual mentor, got into the spiritual arts. Like, so I am a tarot reader, I am an astrologer. Well, astrology's been slowly coming along. I don't really think that had anything to do with that Uranus transit. Astrology has been a part of my life long before that. But I thought I would share that. I would love to hear anyone else who has experienced Uranus through their ninth house, what that was like. Feel free to share other houses if you wish, but I'm really curious to hear that. And for Virgo rising, if you have experienced any of this, I'd love to know. And if you have not, just wait and find out, because you might experience some of these blessings that I did. Overall, my entire Uranus transit in the ninth house was wonderful. And again, I thank Jupiter for being there. If anyone else has natal Jupiter in their ninth house and they had Uranus transit their ninth, I'd love to hear how that went for you. Maybe we have similar experiences. But I thought that this would be educational for some people, entertaining, and I plan to put some more up in terms of just my personal experiences. So let me know how you guys like. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for some more videos.